Two ships, two disasters, two captains faced with impossible choices. One captain chose his career over his crew. The other chose honor over survival. One disaster claimed 275 lives because pride wouldn't allow a captain to give the order that could have saved everyone. The other claimed 437 lives but created a code of honor that has saved thousands in the centuries since. These are the stories of the HMS Tribune and the HMS Birkenhead, two maritime disasters separated by just 54 years, connected by a single question. When does a captain's duty to his career end, and his duty to his people begin? June 8, 1796. The water's off Ireland's Scilly Isles. A French warship called the Tribune cuts through the Atlantic, part of a flotilla of French vessels operating during the Revolutionary Wars. Built just 3 years earlier in 1793, she is a formidable ship, fast, well-armed, and crewed by experienced French sailors. But on this particular afternoon, everything changes. Two British warships spot the French flotilla and immediately give chase. For 10 hours, the Tribune runs. Her captain pushes the crew to their limits. Sails straining. Men exhausted. The British ships closing the distance with every passing hour. Then the British guns open fire. The barrage is devastating. Cannonballs tear through the Tribune's masts. Wood splinters explode across the deck. Men scream. The ship is essentially disabled and has no choice but to surrender. 2 days later, a British crew boards the captured French vessel and sails her to Portsmouth shipyard. For months, she sits in dry dock, being refitted, repaired, and converted into a British warship. By April 29, 1797, the HMS Tribune officially joins the British Royal Navy. 5 months later, in September 1797, the Tribune receives her first major assignment under British colors. Escort a convoy of supply ships to Quebec and Newfoundland. Her captain is Scory Barker, a seasoned naval officer, experienced, confident, a man who had commanded vessels for years. On September 22, 1797, the HMS Tribune departs from Torquay, near the southern tip of England, leading her convoy westward across the Atlantic. Everything seems routine. 12 days out from Halifax, something goes wrong. The Tribune begins to lag behind the other ships in the convoy, slowly at first, then, more noticeably, the distance grows. 1 mile, 2 miles, 5 miles. Eventually, the convoy disappears over the horizon. But Captain Scory Barker isn't worried. He knows the destination. He knows the route. He believes the Tribune can catch up, or at least reach Halifax on her own. So the Tribune continues westward alone across the North Atlantic. November 16, 1797. Nearly 2 months after leaving England, the HMS Tribune finally approaches Halifax Harbor. The crew can see the coastline, the buildings, safety just ahead. But entering Halifax Harbor in 1797 is dangerous. Eden soils, unpredictable currents, narrow channels. It requires local knowledge most visiting captains do not have. That's why standard procedure is to anchor outside the harbor and wait for a local pilot. Captain Barker knows this. He orders the ship to anchor and wait. Then something unexpected happens. The ship's master, John Clegg, approaches Captain Barker. Clegg claims he has navigated Halifax Harbor before. He insists the winds are favorable and that Officer John Cozy can assist him. Captain Barker hesitates. His instinct tells him to wait for the pilot. But Clegg pushes forward. The weather is perfect. Waiting seems unnecessary. Against his better judgment, Captain Barker agrees. He leaves Clegg at the helm and goes below deck. Soon after, the Tribune moves toward the harbor entrance. Almost immediately, things go wrong. The ship drifts dangerously close to McNabb's Island and Thrumcap Shoals. Clegg realizes they are too close. Orders are shouted. Sails shift. The ship struggles to turn. Mr. Galvin, the master's mate, is called from below deck, sick and weak. He climbs to the deck and sees chaos. From atop a deck gun, Galvin sees the rocks directly ahead. There is nothing left to do. The HMS Tribune slams into Thrumcap Shoals. The hull splits open. Water floods the lower decks. Captain Barker rushes topside in fury. But blame no longer matters. The ship is grounded and flooding. Distress signals are raised. Rescue vessels attempt to respond, but the wind strengthens. Waves grow violent. Most rescue attempts are abandoned. Below deck, the crew pumps water relentlessly. Exhausted, soaked, but determined, Captain Barker orders the ship lightened. Cargo, supplies, and guns are thrown overboard. Hour after hour, weight is set. Slowly, the ship begins to lift, but it remains trapped. For 9 hours, the Tribune remains impaled on the rocks. 9 hours during which Captain Barker could have ordered an evacuation. McNabb's Island is close enough for everyone to survive, but the order never comes. In the Royal Navy, abandoning ship is seen as cowardice. A career-ending disgrace. Captain Barker chooses his career over his crew. Around 9 p.m., the Tribune breaks free. Hope flickers. Then a stronger gale pushes the ship violently toward shore. The ship slams into the rocks again. This time, the damage is fatal. The rudder is destroyed. The Tribune drifts helplessly. The final chance to abandon ship is gone. The ship drifts just 3 ship lengths from shore. People on land can see the crew. But the sea is too violent to swim. Rescue ships cannot approach. 2 lieutenants disobey orders and row to shore. They survive. Everyone else remains on board. Around 10:30 p.m., the HMS Tribune sinks. The ship goes down near Herring Cove, Nova Scotia. Rigging remains above water. About 100 cling to it. One by one, exhausted survivors lose their grip and are taken by the sea. By morning, only 8 remain. A 13-year-old boy, known only as Joe, rows out and rescues for. Later, the last 4 are saved. Out of nearly 300 aboard, only 12 survive. Captain Barker, Clegg Cozy, and Galvin are among the dead. The HMS Tribune becomes the worst maritime disaster in Halifax harbor history. The wreck still lies there today. In the 1840s, the Royal Navy builds one of its first iron-hulled ships, originally named HMS Vulcan, later repurposed and renamed HMS Birkenhead. It becomes a powerful troop transport. In 1852, Captain Robert Salmond commands the ship. His mission is to transport troops to South Africa. The ship departs Simonstown on February 25th, with over 600 people aboard. The sea is calm. The weather is clear. The Birkenhead travels close to shore for speed. At 2 a.m., the ship strikes a submerged rock at danger point. The hull is torn open. More than 100 people die within minutes. Captain Simond orders calm. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Seaton takes command of the soldiers. Despite chaos, discipline holds. Lifeboats are prepared for women and children. Soldiers stand firm. They do not rush. They do not panic. They wait. Many die, standing in formation. Their sacrifice creates a legacy. From tragedy comes honor. The Birkenhead drill is born women and children first. Not by law, but but by choice. 2 captains. 2 decisions. 2 legacies.